Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I'm going to review the Output Platform desk that you see behind me. This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but I've really loved this desk ever since the day that I got it. And so I thought I'd share it with you because it's kind of an essential part to my studio now. And the reason for this is before I had a kind of mediocre desk that I bought at Best Buy or Staples or something for like 150 bucks. And it was pretty good. You know, it had kind of risers for speakers and stuff, and it had cabinets to store things. It had a riser for my Mac monitor, or actually my Mac, 'cause it's an iMac, so everything's built in. But it was very cluttered. The area that I had to work with was about this big, and now my work area extends out to this. And so it gives me a lot of space, but that's really not the only reason. One of the main reasons that I got it is because of the way you can organize your desk. So everything's made to be sized for musicians. And the first example of that is that you have 9 U's of rack gear. So you have a 3U slot there, a 3U slot here, and a 3U slot here. So what that means is that over here I have my Axe effects mounted, I have a sonic maximizer mounted under that. This middle one I don't have any rack gear mounted in here. I do have the rails in there just in case for the future, but I store my machine in there. And so it's a nice little cubby to clean off your desk when you're not using anything, and then slide it out when you are. So it's very nice. You just pull it out, turn it on, all the cables get routed through, and it's very clean. So before, my desk was constantly cluttered, and I never had any space to work, and it was kind of always, I guess, giving me anxiety, so to speak, because I'd always be like, oh, I gotta move this around, and I'm writing in this little area. And this solved that problem. And now, the other aspect, also here I have a 3U drawer, so I have some storage space, which is nice. Another big aspect of the whole organizational thing is cable management. And what this desk does is, on the actual table, there's a hole here. You can see it on camera. There's a hole over here. Also in the back of this top shelf, right in the center, and I think on the sides, there's holes to route cables through as well. And on the back of this base platform, there is also holes to route cables. So all your cables, if you have anything mounted on here, cables can just go right in there. And anything that's routed, that's on the top, can be routed through the top, and it goes down the slot in here. Now, I'll put a picture of this from Output's website, but on the back, kind of underneath side of the platform, there is a cable management tray, I believe it's called, but on that, it's kind of a little platform that allows you to put either power bricks or power conditioners or surge protectors on there. So from the back of this, I'll give you a close-up in a sec, but ordinarily you'd have every power cable running from every piece of equipment running off your desk, to your surge protector or to your power brick, splitter, whatever you want to call it. In this case, it actually is a surge protector to protect my gear, but in this case, there's only one power cable coming off of my desk, which allows for the back of it to be pretty clean. In the past, I'd have a mess of cables running up the back. And you can also take advantage of these cable management systems, like these holes and the routing ports, to actually route your audio cables as well. In this case, for my audio interface, I have these cables running through this central port. And they just get routed from behind my desk, but they just dive in right through there. And if I had that blocked off, well, I could dive through here. And it makes it very clean. Another big aspect of why I got this desk is that somewhat recently I started getting into a little bit more keyboard usage. And before I had it behind me, and I always had to turn, from here where I'm working on my music and my computer, I had to turn to the side, or if I'm facing you, kind of turn like this to play the keyboard, which is a very minor inconvenience. But when it comes down to, often the most minor detail can prevent you from doing something. So if I'm sitting here and I just worked, 9-hour day at work, I kind of just want to chill, and it's much easier if I can just touch my keyboard without having to get into position and then switch back and forth. So it's a minor issue, but it's a very easy thing to solve, and that is get your keyboard in front of you. The problem is that takes up a lot of desk space. So this desk actually has a keyboard tray. This fits pretty much, it fits most keyboards. It's designed to fit a certain selection of 88 key keyboards. This is a 61 key keyboard, and it fits it, comfortably. Like, I could put other stuff here if I wanted to. I don't, because I don't need to. So it's very easy. I can slide it like this, and I can still be working. And then if I have an idea, I just start hitting notes, and I don't have to turn. I don't really have to do anything. I can even keep it under here and still access it. So this keyboard tray is another big reason why I got this desk. solves so many issues with the layout of my room, and you might not be evident in the video, but my room is pretty small for the amount of gear that I have in it. I've had to spend a good amount of time planning on how I can increase the density of my room, meaning stack things vertically or try to fit the same amount of stuff in a smaller space but still make it comfortable to use. And this desk was a big part in making that happen. Another nice thing about this desk is that it's relatively cheap if you look at other comparable audio engineer or musician based desks. This particular configuration was about $800, but that's because it has this stained wood finish and in the keyboard tray. I think the keyboard tray is about $150 of that. I think you can get this desk for about $550 if you get the unstained, just straight up wood with a coating with no keyboard tray. I really like the look of the desk. I really like the extra space. I really love the keyboard tray, and I love the ability to rack mount gear. And that sold me. Believe it or not, I saw a commercial for it on YouTube. It was a YouTube advertisement commercial. And I saw it, and it was instantly, I was already looking into desks and how to organize my room, and it was just like it was the perfect example of why YouTube gets money from advertising. Because in that case, Output took a risk, and they put an advertisement on YouTube for videos of people who were probably looking at desks or music gear. And for me, it was just an instant decision. It was like, I need this desk because it solves, this big list of problems. And it helped me out. It was like an advertisement that I was happy to see. Usually I hate the advertisements I get, but this one was great. So now I'm going to take you on a somewhat extra close-up tour of what this desk has to offer. So before I mentioned, it has these ports for routing cables, which is nice. On the back, if I can get a good look at this, there's another port back there to route cables, and then on the back under here, there's a point to route cables. This is a standard rack mount 3U high, and you can fit equipment in here. You can also do the same if you don't want rack gear. You can just use these as extra cubbies to store your gear, which is great. I have this drawer that I use to store extra stuff to keep my desk nice and clean. This keyboard tray, which it gets the job done. I don't know how it compares to other ones, but it kind of has a mid-locking position to some degree. So now if I get a good look under here, you'll see that I do have some cables coming off the back. Now these two cables up here, these are for MIDI, so these come directly off my keyboard, and they're hanging like that just because I currently don't have them wound up tight. So those aren't power cables. There's also a cable that goes to this foot controller here. Ordinarily there would be an extra 8+ power cables coming off this thing. A lot of those cables there are just dangling because I didn't feel like tying them up with anything. So you could get an incredibly clean, behind the desk look, and it's great because usually it's a mess for me. Now, if you're wondering how this desk goes together, it is something you have to assemble. So there are these screws on the side that are, there's a good amount of them. I forget the exact quantity. You can see in their manual for how you build this thing. But it's a pretty clean look with the screws, and it goes together with just an Allen wrench and a screwdriver, if I remember correctly. Now, this desk isn't necessarily 100% perfect. The desk, if you have the keyboard tray, is a little bit low, meaning that if you're, see my legs here, sometimes when I scoot all the way in, right now my legs are not touching the keyboard tray, but if I want to recline back, I have a footrest under here. Sometimes if I'm zoomed in, I'll kind of bump my knee against that. And they do include risers, so you can, if you buy the keyboard tray, they include these kind of probably 2-inch high risers in which you can put them under the feet and then to raise the desk up. I didn't use them because I felt that it made the desk a little bit unstable on carpet. It would give it a little bit of rock to it, but that was before I put all my heavy equipment on it. But I didn't want to risk it being an issue, so I just decided to deal with the lowness of the desk. Now, depending on your height, this might not be an issue at all. Mine chair, this is the lowest position, so it's just kind of how it worked. But I'm about 5'9", so for me it's not an issue. So if you're about 5'9", it's fine. If you're like 6'5", you might want to make sure that it'll work. They do publish the measurements of everything on their manual of the desk or the build guide. I forget which one, but it has all the dimensions of everything that's relevant. So if you want to size it for yourself, size it for the space that you're going to put the desk in. So for me, the $800 cost of this desk is worth every single penny. It solves the problem of having enough desk space. It solves the problem of having a clean work area with having all these storage points and cable routing. It solves the problem of messy cable management. It looks great. It's big enough, but it's not too big where it doesn't fit in most spaces. It's easy to assemble. It has a keyboard mount, it has a riser, and it has rack mount points. So for me, this is, after everything I looked, cost versus features, this is the best desk that money could buy for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more. I upload videos every single Friday. Again, this was not a sponsored video. It's just when I get a product that I love, I kind of want to let people know. Because these guys, I think they deserve your money. This is a very quality product, and I can't recommend it enough, honestly. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.